Bravery is a skill, not a personality trait, and it is the fastest, most powerful skill to creating the career and life you really want. I'm Nicole Steinbach, the International Bravery Coach and your host. I'm a former global senior director in the tech industry who's worked in over 25 countries. I'm now a certified and proven coach serving professional women like you all over the world. My promise is that you will stress less, work less, and then earn more. The Celebrate Brave podcast is for you, so make sure you subscribe for weekly Brave inspiration, including proven frameworks for career and life success, my answers to your listener questions, and powerful conversations with my clients and other brave leaders. You are already brave. You can define what brave means for you and your goals and build your brave. In fact, you're already in the right place. So let's dive in. Welcome to this episode. In this episode, we're going to be answering the question, how did I know it was time for me to get career coaching? Listen, this is not a Why Work with Nicole episode. You may hear a few people reference conversations that they had with me or even working with me. That is not what this episode is about. In fact, not every voice that you hear answering this question of how'd you know it was time? What was the symptom that led you to working with a career coach is actually someone that I've worked with. The reason I wanted to create this episode and weave in many different voices from different areas of the world and different functions, different levels of seniority, different industries even, is because we know, and the reporting from the International Coaching Federation shows that men get significantly more investment in singular professional services, meaning one-on-one, as well as certifications than women do. And so what that means is that my story of having my first coaching experience, in fact, a number of my initial coaching experiences were paid for and sponsored by my employer. So I got to try out career coaching as part of my professional development for free for me. And too many women are not having that experience. And so there's this perception, and I personally have been a part of many panels and group conversations in which women think having career coaching is something that only those people do, either because they're not doing well, because they can't, quote, manage the stress. Oh my gosh, how often I hear that in group conversations, or because they're like some sort of hooty tooty kind of woman who's stepping on other people to get where she wants to be. And that is not true. That's not true. If you want to be elite, you want to have coaching. We are in a time right now, I'm recording this late in 2023. It'll be coming to you in 2024. We're in a time right now where we are seeing movies like Barbie. Every single person, from the director, Greta, to Margot, to the guy who plays Ken, whoever he is, I'm sure he's a lovely human being, but listen, I'm the most uncool person you listen to. They have all publicly spoken about their acting coaches, their coaching around publicity. Taylor Swift has spoken frequently and publicly about how important skill coaching, stage coaching, and yes, mindset coaching, relationship coaching has been for her. Beyonce, also, the leaders of the world, the leader of the EU right now, has also spoken about the power of her personal investment through skill upbuilding and, yes, coaching. If you want to be elite, meaning not elite in income or title, but in your dreams, in your brave career, you need to be more open about investing in yourself. Now, that may be asking your employer to please pay for your coaching as part of your professional development. If you're at a major corporation, they almost all of them have internal coaching stables of employees of that company who are trained as coaches and coach their fellow colleagues. Okay. Or perhaps a group coaching or a one-on-one or a skill up build, etc. So this episode is specifically designed around answering the question, how did I know it was time to get my career coaching? I'm going to start off with my own. Okay. There were 4 symptoms I want to share. So my very first coaching experience was actually essentially mandated. I was a disaster to work with. And I was told by my new manager that I had to figure out how to be reasonable to work with so that my high potential could be met with a more pleasurable, effective collaboration with me. Okay. The second time, I was in near constant exhaustion and I felt worthless as a project manager, as a project member. I cried nearly every single day in the office bathroom. I've shared these 2 stories in detail on the podcast before. 2 that I do not think that I've shared are, look, my leadership score was average and I wanted to be a better leader. And when I say average, I mean in the company I was in, I had really bad leadership scores, really bad, but that was average at the company I was in. And I wanted to be a better leader. So I invested in myself in leadership coaching. And then the last one, and the one that is just, you'll hear a couple of times in the voices following me, is that everything looked successful and I didn't feel successful. In fact, I felt really stuck. I was really bored. I was really frustrated. I was really confused. And I was very, very lonely. Now, you're going to hear voices of an incredible group of women. They share their first names, they share their function or their industry, and then they share the symptom that led them into coaching. I hope that you enjoy this. I would love to hear from you. What symptom are you experiencing now? Also, what symptoms did my guests here not capture that you experienced that led you to investing in yourself or being invested in by your employer? All right. Until next time, brave it up.
All right. This is Amanda. I'm a leader in sales engineering and consulting. And I knew it was time for me to get a career coach when I just felt stuck and didn't even know how to move forward, backward, sideways, or anything. I was often frustrated, feeling that I was hitting roadblocks. I felt frustrated that I couldn't help others get the results that I was expecting of them. I felt frustrated with my lack of ability to get the respect I felt I deserved and knew I deserved because of all the knowledge I had and experience I had in the organization, and was at a point where all I wanted to do was solve it, but had no idea what else to try. So, talking with other people, getting opinions, just trying everything I could look up and think of, looking online for solutions. I just didn't seem to be making progress, and I was tremendously unhappy in my role. And I just knew that it was time. Well, I didn't know why, but I needed to get unstuck. And the coaching did that for me. Oh my God. What it made such a tremendous impact. And yeah, that would be when I knew it was time for me to get career coaching.
So my name is Ashley, and I am a program manager in the tech industry. And I knew I needed coaching when I found myself very burnt out working in the education industry. And I knew that I needed to get myself out of basically the entire industry and do something completely different. And because of where I was at from a mental health perspective and being burnt out, I wasn't sure I could do that on my own. And so I was looking for someone who could provide me guidance and accountability and make sure that I didn't like flip back into just a different school or just a different function in the same industry. And because I think once you get a little bit of distance from a hard thing, you can sometimes forget how hard it was. And so when I was looking for coaches, I was looking for someone who was going to really help me like be thoughtful about my mindset towards work and how I'm spending my days and what I want my relationship to that to be. And I fortunately was able to do just that.
Hi, my name is Chelsea, and I am an electrical engineer. How did I know when it was time for me to start career coaching or to take that plunge into doing career coaching? I thought I was doing amazing at work. I thought I was producing a lot of product, and then I was hit with a surprise performance management process that didn't go my way. I felt like I was at rock bottom in a way that I had never felt like I was at rock bottom before. And I didn't know where to go. It felt lonely. I felt like I didn't have any direction or a heading in my career. And I remembered hearing about the benefits of career coaching at the Grace Hopper conference. And I started looking into the various coaches and found a coach who was right for me. I've been working with her over the last 18 months to 2 years. And there have definitely been hard love moments, but I think overall I am in a better place where I'm able to speak for myself. I'm able to realize when I'm starting to get into old patterns again. And I see the light at the end of the tunnel for creating a more healthy and less stressful life where I can focus on my passions and really what I love to do. So, yeah, that's why I started career coaching.
I knew it was time for me to get career coaching when I was going through my annual review cycle and talking to my boss about getting a promotion. And he told me that essentially I just had to wait, that there was nothing that I could do. It was just a matter of time. At that point, I got really frustrated, and I was also getting the lowest performance review that I'd gotten in my professional career and getting feedback related to the non-performance of my direct reports. And so I knew it was time for a change and that something needed to change. I reached out to Nicole, told her that I was frustrated and that I needed to learn how to hire better, how to manage better, and that I was looking for changes. And that was what sparked me to get a career coach.
Hi, my name is Eva. I work in product. I have been in that role for several years, and prior to that, I have had a very long stint in IT working in support for over 15 years. But the whole reason why I decided to get a career coach is for clarity. The job market in 2023 looks extremely different from the last time I did not have a job, which was 2005. And there is just so many avenues to explore. There's so many different realms of possibilities Do I just apply to any old position for a paycheck? Do I really kind of put myself out there? How much should I go into on my, profile and my resume about those, about the confidence I need to get these positions? But yeah, I think that that's kind of the biggest thing for me, is why I wanted to get career coaching, is just to get more organized in my head, because there's just so much going on right now. So that's kind of what I decided, and why I decided to kind of go forward with career coaching.
My name is Jackie, and I started in transportation. I'm currently working in customer success, and I'm actually eyeing a transition into the implementation consultant space. And I knew it was time to get coaching when I felt like I had tried the easy answers. So to back up a little bit, I was unemployed. I had been unemployed for a few months at this time, and I had been trying to just kind of apply on the side and enjoy my little bit of break time while also starting to look for the next thing. And I tried the resume refresh. I tried the numbers game. I was hearing that a lot. You just got to apply, just wait for the numbers to get big enough and something will work out. And that just wasn't happening. And then the final kind of part for me was, I had heard that advice of, well, you gotta network, and you gotta just like let people know and let people help. And so I was reaching out to my network the way I knew how, which was not LinkedIn at the time, so I didn't have a very strong LinkedIn presence. And someone mentioned to me when I did, they kind of referred me to this, just someone else's success story of how they had gotten coaching, and that had allowed them to make changes that they wanted without a lot of additional education or other types of investment. And so those are really the two pieces for me, was one, having tried what were the easy answers, and then also being able to see it be successful for somebody else. And that was the key for me, was I need to give this a try.
Hi, my name is Jenny, and I decided that I needed to try career coaching when I knew that I needed a change, but I had not looked for a job in 10 years. And when I started to look for a job, I was very overwhelmed by all of the different possibilities and directions that I could go in. And so I needed some direction from a person who at the time did not know me. So I really wanted an objective viewpoint on what I was good at, where I could take my different skills, and where I would be happier and more fulfilled and also make more money. So that's when I knew I needed to try career coaching. I guess along with that, not having looked for a job in 10 years, I knew that I wanted to switch the industry that I worked in, but I didn't know that many people outside of my industry. And so I needed help learning how to network in a new decade. So I needed direction there with LinkedIn and things like that. I used to work in education. Now I work in technology, and I work in the customer success space.
How did I know that career coaching was the right next step for me is such a great question, especially because I guess maybe the twist in the story is that I have myself been a career coach for others. In my former job, it was actually my full professional role to be a career coach for folks that were transitioning into the tech industry. And during my time doing that, grew a ton, learned a ton, loved and welcomed the opportunity to support others in asking questions of themselves to better increase their self-awareness, their confidence, understanding their transferable skill set, knowing how to articulate their value add to a business, knowing how to evaluate and determine whether or not there was a great, strong mutual fit between themselves and the moment in time they're at in their career and what the company's needs are. And so loved getting to do that work to help illuminate the answers to those questions for others, and yet still found myself not always knowing how to do that work for myself. It reminds me of, athletes. You need a coach as an athlete because there's always going to be blind spots for you evaluating yourself, especially in the act of performing. If I am out on a field, on a court, doing something, being able to have a coach that's there, that's able to provide corrective feedback, encouragement, validation, and different perspective is so critical to accelerating, advancing, growing. And that's the same in our careers. And it was certainly the same for myself. And so for me, it really became clear that I felt like I was kind of treading water. I had lost some motivation. At work, I wasn't feeling fully engaged in the work. And I do have a pattern of this. That was one of the other big things, was I was recognizing that my pattern over my entire career has been to seek out new opportunities instead of really understanding and getting to the root of what's causing the lack of engagement, whatever the current gig is. And so sought out coaching to support me in figuring that out. And then from a place of more like neutrality, so not like I'm moving away from something, but really being at peace with my current state, then being able to define what is it that I'm moving towards and what is it that I'm wanting and seeking. It's been really helpful for me, both personally and professionally. I do feel more engaged. I do feel more confident. It's just an incredible value add. And I could not encourage more folks to seek out career coaching almost regardless of where they're at in their career. So for me, it was, I'm at a leadership level, and it's helped to accelerate and up-level my skills, but truly early career, in transition, etc., and certainly executive levels and above, it just makes such a huge difference.
My name is Marcia, and I am a career coach and entrepreneur. And I knew it was time for me to get career coaching when I was about 8 months into running my business by myself. I had never run a business before. I'm a solopreneur. I had nobody in my family or friends who had run a business before. So I was pretty much figuring it all out by myself. And around the 8th month, I started to see that I needed to get support for two main reasons. One being that I needed a sparring partner because I just was trying to make all these big decisions, trying to brainstorm up all these ideas. And that's a lot to do by yourself. I needed someone to guide me through the decision-making processes that I was going through, to have a second voice and a second perspective to make these big decisions. But the second reason why I knew it was time for me to get career coaching is actually a lot more pressing. It was that I was stuck in this spiral of unhelpful thoughts, is probably the best way to describe them. Like doubts, some anxiety, some things that I even couldn't put my finger on because I couldn't quite understand what was going on. When you're in your own brain, it can get really challenging to figure out what is happening underneath the surface. So I knew that I needed to have someone to ask the right questions so that I could sit back and answer and didn't need to worry about like the structure, so that I could be held by the structure of a career coach and let my brain do the digging to find out what was keeping me stuck in my business, or what was keeping me small, or what was keeping me stressed. And it has been so incredibly helpful to have someone support me through that. It's been the best decision I've made in my business to get that kind of support. And I would do it all over again, because you do not need to do all that decision making, all that brain work by yourself. And Nicole once told me the best way to get to know your shit is to start a business. And oh boy, was she right. So that when I started to feel that shit, that's when I knew I'm ready to get a career coach.
Hi, my name is Mariana, and I'm a product marketer. I knew it was time to get career coaching when I had hit a point of feeling immensely lost after doing an MBA degree, which I thought would clear up a lot of questions, but actually left me questioning my own professional self-worth and with a pretty beat up confidence. For me, career coaching is a way to understand the career experiences I have had, find a way to build up my workplace confidence, and once again, trust in my decision making, and ultimately to begin to understand what type of career I want to build.
I knew it was time for me to get career coaching when, at home on sick leave for burnout, I made the decision to change careers. I'd been working for a decade as a school counselor and had been in the field of education for over 15 years when COVID struck. The incredible ask of educators during the pandemic and the resulting mental health crisis for teenagers took a big toll on me in my work. While we were still in the process of recovering from the pandemic, I lost my father suddenly and tragically. Burned out and unable to hold the space for my students, I took leave so I could recover. While I was away, I realized that while I loved many things about my work, it was no longer serving me. I didn't want to spend my emotional and professional energy holding the emotions of others at the expense of my own, and I didn't want to be in a field where I had little room to grow and advance. And as I like to say, I was tired of being paid in martyrdom, which is a terrible form of compensation that doesn't put food in the fridge or pay the rent. I made a plan to take the leap and leave my job at the end of the year, and I chose to make coaching a part of that plan to provide support and guidance as I worked on career exploration and eventual transition. Having worked in an insular field for my whole professional life, I wanted the help navigating the world beyond what I knew. Coaching provided that guidance and support, but also provided me with new ways of thinking as I reworked my emotional and cognitive frameworks around what work is, how it is or isn't a part of my identity, and the way I feel about finances and my own worth. Even though the investment in coaching was very big for me, it has been 100% worth it, and I'm in the process of creating a life and work landscape that serves me well and gives me the freedom to enjoy my life with much more ease.
So this is Nicole again, and that's a wrap. I hope the insight of these incredibly generous women from all over the world in different industries, different seniorities, and very different stories helps you answer the question, when are you ready? When do you need a career coach? What are the symptoms that point you towards career coaching? Now, the next question is, of course, well, how do I choose a career coach? And for that, I'm going to actually point you to episode 141. It's called Brave Careers: How Career Coaching Creates Career Growth. What is a career coach? When do you need one? And if you have any specific questions, definitely email me, Nicole@steinbach.com. It's in the show notes. Until next time, be brave. Before you go, you can deepen and expand what you're experiencing here on the Celebrate Brave podcast by working directly with me through bespoke, results-oriented one-on-one coaching that is rooted in my proven Build Your Brave framework. As of the last client survey completed in Q1 2023, 75% of my clients from the past 2 years report they reached their unique goal. 100% of my clients, yes, 100%, report they stress less as a result of working with me. 56% report working less, and 43% report earning more. You learned how to spend less time ruminating and stressing yourself out by getting clearer and calmer within a mindset approach that is simple, effective, and specific to you. Then we work together to end the habit of overworking and overproducing by crafting a plan of momentum specific to your goals and strengths. I support you as you execute your plan, including the skills and knowledge necessary to succeed in your own accountability. And finally, you step away from the all too common pattern of under-earning and make the shifts towards being well paid in your industry, using the clarity and momentum to ensure you become the woman you want to be at work and in your life. For real. Go to tricksteinbach.com to learn more and schedule your free, no obligation consultation. Link in the show notes. You can stress and work less while you earn and live more by building the skill of bravery. Talk soon.